Most vital workers in America, full stop. I'm obviously excluding our medical and first responders. Clearly, we can't live without doctors, nurses, law enforcement, and other frontline workers. But aside from those vital workers, truckers are it. Not the Wall Street fat cats, and certainly not government. Sorry, politicians, you aren't that important to the country. But truckers, oh hell yeah, we need you folks. I mean, that is, if the plan is to keep America what we are, the most powerful and most secure nation on the planet. If that's still the plan, truckers are an integral spoke in the metaphoric wheel of the economy. The industry, by the numbers, folks, bear with me here, this is amazing. Truckers move 72.5% of all the nation's freight by weight, a whopping 10 billion tons of freight. 38 million trucks registered and used for business purposes in America. 300 billion miles traveled by all registered trucks in 2019. 8 million people were employed in trucking. 41.5% of the trucking industry are minorities. The average age of a trucker in America, 46 years old. The industry throws off a ton of revenue. In 2020, there were $732 billion in revenues. And gross revenue means huge tax revenue. $48.5 billion was paid by commercial trucks in federal and state highway user taxes alone. Did you know truckers pay 24.5 cents in federal fuel tax for every gallon of diesel fuel they use, and an additional 30.3 cents in state fuel tax for each gallon of diesel fuel that they use? That's an insane 55 cents a gallon for every gallon of fuel they use. Let's just say they're paying way more than their fair share. And get this, the vast majority of truckers are self-owned small businesses, also known as owned and operated. 91.5% operate fewer than 5 trucks. Remember my motto, folks, numbers don't lie, and these stats prove my point. We need to back these men and women, not make their jobs any more difficult than they already are. Canadian truckers have started a proverbial convoy of truckers rolling around the world. And in the U.S., there's a plan for a massive trucker convoy to span a trip from the West Coast to Washington, D.C., where these patriots can deliver a payload, a huge but simple payload of demands that the D.C. politicians release the brakes on their industry. Regulation is strangling them. I think they speak for all Americans. Get your dirty DC feet off our brakes with the mandates and stop with the speed bump mask requirements, because it's all about freedom. Freedom to choose, and in this case, freedom to move. Go get her done, trucking industry. We got your 6. Joining us now is a man who spent decades behind the wheel. Please welcome truck owner and operator for Trans United, Niels Mortensen. He's back with us. Niels, thank you. Oh, we have Jeff Felizak as well. He's here too. He's also a truck owner with Trans United. I'll start with you, Niels, because I introed you first. So, you know, I was doing the numbers. I'm just blown away by the amount of revenue, tax revenue that you generate for these idiot politicians in D.C. Yet they seem to want to make your job harder and harder. And I'll go specifically with these vaccine and mask mandates that they're making. If you guys stop rolling, we're screwed as an economy.
Oh, absolutely. You know, last year, I love your numbers, by the way. They were great. Trucks haul 80% of the cross-border traffic between Canada and the U.S. Last year, that was $580 billion. And that's in a suppressed supply chain during COVID. So as you can see, any type of mandate that would affect that and cause people to be out of work and lose their livelihood has a tremendous impact. Even a small percentage does in these times where we're already stretched thin.
Yeah, Jeff, if I have you, I'm not sure if we have your audio or not, but if you hear me, tell us about this Canadian, this convoy that rolled up to Ottawa and told the Prime Minister, listen, you got to stop this or else. It's really started kind of a chain reaction around the country, around the world, around the globe. Will you participate if there is one in America?
Well, first, let me just say, Eric, I'm so proud of Canada right now. I just cannot believe what they're doing. That's something that I want to do for 40 years, and here they're doing it. I wish I could go up there right now. I really do. And yes, I would be so proud to go to DC with my fellow truck drivers. Yes, sir.
How about you, Neil? So will you get involved? And if you would, why?
Without a second thought, I would get involved. I'll tell you, in the last 2 years alone, we've had our holidays taken from us. We've had our faith. We've had our livelihood taken from a lot of us. I know people that really have suffered. They've had their businesses shut down. I mean, I think I have it easy just losing everything that we have. It's just enough. And what they did in Canada is amazing because it started out with truckers. It became the whole country. I see articles every day where there's 80-year-old grandmothers taking fresh muffins to the truckers. I saw where they were all dancing in the street to We Are the World. It is the most peaceful exercise I've ever seen because that's who truckers are. We're not violent. We're not racist. Nothing like that. We just want a peaceful to come together and say, hey, please listen to our concerns. You've affected us enough. Give us back what we originally had. Let us make our own decisions.
Yeah, and Jeff, let me, one of the statistics I cited, 41.5% of the industry is jobs are held by minorities. That is a massive number, probably exceeds most industries. So tell us a little bit, what would the U.S. Convoy, what would be the payload, as I pointed out, what of demands that you unloaded on DC if you got there?
Well, like I said, I've been waiting 40 years for this. I think when we got there, we'd have to get Joe out of his basement, and he could come and talk to us, just like the man in Canada, which I say Little Joe.
Little Joe Jr. Are you talking about Justin Trudeau's little Joe Jr.? Yeah, you're probably right. Liberal as the liberal does,
Yes, is he not hiding in his basement? Why will he not come out and talk to these people who just want to have a conversation with them and say, hey, look, we are free people. You can't do this to us. I will never let somebody do that to me. I would have to stop working. I would, I don't know, be a carpenter. I don't know what I would do, but it has to stop.
The only problem, if you stop working and others like you, Jeff, is that the economy stops. I mean, it literally grinds to a halt. If you're not able to move product from one city to the next or coast to coast, from port to city, it's unbelievable how important you are. Jeff Felizak and Niels Mortensen, we got your back here. I hope the rest of the American people and the people certainly watching my show, I'm sure, have your back as well. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.